Greetings, my friends. Welcome. Thrilled and delighted to be here with you today. This is the one, the only Ryder Report. You have found it. You have landed right here. Ryder Bullock with you for the next 60 minutes. What a lineup we have. Week 2 of the NFL, the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, I know the Colts looking better than anyone thought. A team people wanted to bury last year, now suddenly alive, showing fight, showing grit. But wait, the Eagles. Oh, my friends, the Philadelphia Eagles look like they're on a road back to get that Lombardi trophy, if you know what I'm saying. Sometimes the numbers lie, sometimes the record doesn't, and that's the story for Notre Dame. You know, I'm a Notre Dame guy, always have been, always will be, but here's the question. They're ranked 0-2, and they're ranked. Someone make this make sense. I want to believe. I'm pulling for them. I picked them to win the national championship. But that's not football. That's branding. It's legacy. It's the benefit of the doubt. Let's be honest. It's nonsense. WNBA Playoffs are hitting. You heard me right. Let me tell you something, the basketball being played there, it's legit, it's tough, it's gritty, it's competitive. Don't roll your eyes. Don't shrug it off. These women are going at it, and they are putting on a show. And finally, the bombshell in the world of professional wrestling, the WWE, the empire built by Vince McMahon, has sold itself to Saudi Arabia. Wrap your head around that. The pageantry, the pyrotechnics, the storylines, all now under the banner of Riyadh. Globalization, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about oil and money anymore. It's about suplexes and steel chairs. Think about it. So buckle up, because we've got a lot to cover. And we are coming to you live from the heart of greatness, Temecula, California. Ryder Bullock with you. Sit tight, don't move, because we begin with Monday Night Football in Houston. It was Monday night drama. Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers pulled off a late game rally, stunning the Texans 20-19 with Tampa Bay down 5. Mayfield engineered an 11-play, 80-yard drive, his biggest moment. A gutsy 15-yard scramble on 4th and 10 to keep the drive alive. Rachaad White finished it off with a 2-yard touchdown run with just 6 seconds left on the clock. Mayfield threw for 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a strike to rookie Emeka Mbuka, giving him 3 touchdowns in his first 2 career games. Houston thought it had the game sealed. Nick Chubb broke free for a 25-yard touchdown run with 2:10 remaining, giving the Texans a 19-14 lead. But the failed 2-point try plus missed chances earlier in the red zone. Texans had 4 attempts at the 2. 3 attempts at the 2, I'm sorry. Plus, it came back to haunt them. C.J. Stroud finished with 207 yards and 1 score, but Houston's offense sputtered most of the second half. Will Anderson had a key late sack. Rookie Jalen Knowles' 53-yard punt return set up Chubb's touchdown, but the Texans couldn't close. Final score from Houston, Buccaneers 20, Texans 19. Tampa Bay moves to 2-0, while Houston drops to 0-2. The Bucs host the Jets next Sunday. The Texans travel to Jacksonville. In Las Vegas, second quarter, they're live. 8:06 left to play in Vegas. Vegas has the ball at their own 12. They are down 10-6. Justin Herbert, 5 for 10, 50 yards, 1 touchdown. We'll keep you updated on that game as the evening progresses. So, week 2 of the NFL wrapping up as we speak. But we got to talk about what happened yesterday, and that is Brian Schottenheimer. He had himself a week, didn't he? And not a good one. First-year head coach of the Cowboys. He's sitting there with 3 extra days to stew on that opening loss of the Eagles. Now, what? Not what you want. Then you can't make this up. Both of his dogs get bitten by snakes. Then on Friday, his 82-year-old mother breaks her arm and winds up in the hospital. So this guy is thinking something's got to turn around here. And you know what? It did. But then it didn't. Then it did again. And then it didn't again. That is the kind of game the Giants and the Cowboys was on Sunday. Back and forth, absolute mayhem. Cowboys beat the Giants 40-37 in overtime. First career win for Schottenheimer. And it was every bit the circus you'd expect in Jerry's world. The fourth quarter alone was nuts. 41 points. You had a 64-yard field goal at the gun to force overtime. You had Russell Wilson look like he's going to keep the rookie on the bench. Then looking like he's washed again. Malik Neighbors looked like he might lead the league in yards. Cowboys defense looked like it couldn't stop anybody. And Brandon Aubrey, I mean, people are already throwing his name in the MVP conversation. That's how wild it got. 984 yards total. 26 accepted penalties, 5 lead changes in the fourth quarter. I mean, you don't see games like this every week. 3 different receivers over 100 yards. Schottenheimer gets the game ball after. Jerry Jones makes a big deal about it, and the guys are saying he needs a couple of shotties, vodka, water, and 3 lemons. Welcome to life as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Now listen, after a game like that, everybody wants to overreact, and they're talking about Dak Prescott gonna be the MVP, and all kinds of crazy stuff, and the Cowboys won, and we got to hear about Weedham boys, and you're gonna hear Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson say, how about them Cowboys? Well, really, it was, how about your kicker? How about Brandon Aubrey? Come on, he kicked it from 60 plus to take it to overtime. And then you beat the Giants in overtime. So, let's deal with some overreactions coming out of week 2, because that's what's happening after a wild weekend in the NFL. Everybody wants to crown somebody or bury somebody. Here you go. Here's what's on X. The Cowboys offense isn't good enough to get into the playoffs. Look, that's nonsense. That's flat out nonsense. They started slow. Yes, the Giants gift wrapped the first quarter by committing 6 penalties on the opening drive, and Dallas couldn't get on the field. They were rusty. But by the end, Dak threw for 361 yards, ran for 17 more. CeeDee Lamb goes over 100 yards. Pickens scores late. Javonte Williams gives you nearly 130 total yards. That's not an offense that's missing the playoffs. That line's holding up. Dak looks in great shape, and if Williams has a real resurgence, they're going to be dangerous. Dallas is fine, especially when you have a kicker that can kick from, I swear, it was 67 yards. It was one of the longest I've seen. And if you can do that, you're going to be fine. The Lions, here you go. The Lions are finished without Ben Johnson. Wrong. People jumped all over them after week 1, like the sky was falling. They ran into Green Bay, who might be a juggernaut this year. I like Green Bay. I think it's going to be Green Bay and Philadelphia in the NFC Championship. You can write that down. But The Packers are deep, balanced, nasty on defense and offense, really. But everybody's going to struggle with them. The Lions answered by dropping 52 on Chicago. Goff throws for 5 touchdowns. Amon Ra grabs 3. Gibbs and Montgomery both score. That offense didn't miss a beat. They're going to be fine. Johnson's a loss, sure, but Detroit is still loaded. And they've got the Ravens 1 week from tonight in Baltimore. That's going to be a great game. I have not made my prediction yet, but I do. My prediction is that it's going to be a great game. Here's another one. The Steelers' defense will keep them out of the playoffs. Now, listen, I said last week all this hype about Aaron Rodgers and that, and I said the Steelers looked good. They didn't look so good this week against the Seahawks, a team that I think they should have beat. But, so I said last week the Steelers, at best, will make the playoffs and get eliminated in the first or second round. Okay? And so their defense, will it keep them out of the playoffs? It might not keep them out of the playoffs, but it'll keep them from winning in the playoffs. It'll keep them from the Super Bowl, sure. Listen, they've got Rodgers, they've got Metcalf, they've got playmakers, but you can't give up 30-plus every week and survive in the NFL. Seattle comes in, puts up 31 on them, outgains them badly. They're giving up almost 400 yards a game through 2 weeks. That's not Steelers football. That defense is not holding up. If it doesn't get better fast, they're not making the playoffs, period. Now, the last one. The Colts win the AFC South. Another ugly win in Indianapolis. Okay? It was ugly. Okay? It comes down to a flag on the play for leverage. I've never heard of leverage before, but that is a thing apparently. And you get another try, and the kick is good. Penalties will kill you every time. Everybody knows that. That aside, let's talk about how the Colts and Daniel Jones have not punted yet this season. Their offense, their offense is so good that the punter has not needed to come out. That's never happened in the Super Bowl era. 2-0. And I think they've still scored on every possession. I'm not sure. I think I read that somewhere. But I know the Colts, here you go. Matter of fact, here, let's read this stat. This is the stat. The Colts are the first team in NFL history to score on their first 10 offensive possessions of the season. And they still haven't punted. Look, AFC South's wide open. Tennessee's a mess. Houston's 0-2. Jacksonville, a little inconsistent. The Colts, they look sharp. About Jonathan Taylor running wild. Jones playing controlled football. Here's the problem. Jones in New York didn't have an O-line. Colts have a great O-line. Probably best O-line I've seen the Colts in maybe 10 years. They've got some weapons too. And Steichen, I'm sorry, coaching aggressively. That win over Denver, bizarre ending, yes, but it counts. They're 2-0. They can run it, and in that division, that might be enough. Don't be shocked if Indy's standing there in December with a division title. So, bottom line is the Cowboys are fine, the Lions are fine, the Steelers are not fine. Colts are legitimate contenders. That's where we stand after week 2. We do, though, have a developing story in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow had to have toe surgery, out a minimum of 3 months. He has turf toe against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bengals played the Jaguars yesterday in a very tight matchup. And he was sacked with and stubbed his toe, but ultimately turf toe. Bengals did win the game 31-27, and Burrow in that game, 7 of 13, 76 yards, 1 touchdown. Jake Browning will take the team while he's gone. He had 21 for 32 yesterday, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. Bengals still win it, 31-27. But the headline here is Joe Burrow's out for 3 months. And let me tell you right now, it is a catastrophic for Cincinnati. This isn't a sprain. This isn't a week-to-week thing. Surgery, 3 months. That means the season is over, period. You don't lose your franchise quarterback in September and come back in December with playoff hopes. It doesn't happen in this league. Now, Zach Taylor's up there today with his coach. Speak about, we've got good energy, we'll be fine. Stop. You're not fine. You're 2-0, but you lose the guy who makes you relevant. And this isn't the first time. It's the knee, it's the wrist, now it's the toe. 3 major injuries in 6 years. And why? Because his team refuses to build a real offensive line. They played Higgins, they played Chase, but they let their quarterback get hit 200 times since he came into the league. Why? And what do you think was going to happen? And look, Jake Browning had nice moments yesterday. 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. Now, we'll get to this in a minute, but you play Minnesota, and you might win that game because J.J. McCarthy is questionable in that game. We had that developing story later. But, Joe Burrow, coming back in December, doesn't scream playoff potential. So I think if you're the Bengals, you're finished. The Bengals window is shut until Burrow's healthy. And the way this is trending, I don't know how many more healthy seasons this guy has. It's tough. Let's continue. In Kansas City on Sunday night, a Super Bowl rematch turned into a showcase of brute force. The Philadelphia Eagles, led by Jalen Hurts and newcomer Saquon Barkley, pushed quite literally past Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs 20-17. Hurts scored on the play that's become Philadelphia's calling card, the so-called tush push. The Eagles used it 7 times in all, including a crucial fourth quarter touchdown, as they handed Kansas City its first 3-game losing streak with Mahomes under center. Now you say, how are they three games? Well, they lost the Super Bowl. Now they're 0-2. So that is 3 games there. And they're 0-2 for the first time since 2014. So that's where the Chiefs are. But the NFL has debated eliminating the play before. Last season, or this past offseason, a proposal from the Green Bay Packers to ban it fell 2 votes short. Those against it argued it looked more like a rugby than a football play, or that it was dangerous, though injury data never supported that claim. On Sunday, critics found fresh ammunition. Tom Brady called the game. He noted missed full starts. Replay showed officials letting things slide. Even Fox Rules analyst Dean Belando said he was done with the tush push, calling it too difficult to officiate. And that leads to this. You can call it ugly. You can call it awkward. You can even call it boring. But banning it simply because it frustrates defenders and confuses referees, that's no basis for rulemaking. The Eagles didn't invent the rule book. They just found a way to master it. If you don't like it, the answer is simple. Stop it on your defense or copy it. Practice it. Football has never been about appearances. It has been about execution, preparation, and power. The Eagles are better at the tush push than anyone else until someone takes it away, or until owners muster the votes to outlaw it. Philadelphia has every right to keep doing it. Philadelphia has every right to keep doing the play. It's simple. And the problem in the end isn't the play. It's the inability to others to figure it out. Clear and simple. From professional football to college football we go. We have this week's AP poll, and folks, it's a weird one as we get it for you right here. Week 4 AP poll number 25, you have USC. 24, Notre Dame. 23, Missouri. 22, Auburn. 21, Michigan. 20, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's hot right now. Indiana, Georgia Tech, Texas Tech, Utah, 19, 18, 17, 16 in that order. Tennessee's 15, Alabama 14, 13, Ole Miss, 12, Iowa State, 11, Oklahoma, 10, Texas A&M. Illinois is at 9. They've got a meeting in Bloomington on Saturday. Texas is at 8, Florida State at 17, Oregon, a team that nobody's talking about, is at 6, Georgia 5, Miami 4, LSU 3, Penn State 2, Ohio State 1. So, Texas A&M makes a big jump into the top 10 after that thriller in South Bend. Now listen, they played their tails off. They overcame mistakes, a scary injury, blocked punts, 13 penalties, and still pulled it off. Fine. You want to reward them, I get it. But let's not go nuts. This is still a team that hasn't beaten anybody elite yet. Notre Dame's 0-2. Utah State UTSA. Good wins, not great wins. Let's keep that in perspective. Now Notre Dame, that is the story. They're 0-2, and they're still ranked. That hasn't happened since Michigan back in '88. You got to have real respect from voters for that to happen. And look, both their losses are close. One possession games against Miami and A&M. Okay? So they're not garbage losses, but here's the deal. You lose again, you're done. The Irish are getting historical benefit of the doubt right now. But 0-3, that's curtains at the top. Ohio State, still number 1, 55 first place votes. Penn State, LSU right there. Miami, how about this? Miami at number 4 getting first place votes for the first time since 2017. That's a statement. They've got Florida on Saturday night. Game day is going to be in Miami. I don't know why. A lot of better games on, but I'm not in charge of that. So, anyway, Georgia at 5, even after that tight one at Tennessee, which voters basically ignored. They didn't punish Tennessee either for losing in overtime, so you can tell the voters wanted to protect the SEC brands. Oregon slips 2 spots despite hammering Northwestern by 20 on the road. I don't like that. That's the voters playing politics. A 20-point road win is nothing to sneeze out. They get punished for style points while Georgia nearly loses and moves up. It's nonsense. Couple other quick hits. Alabama shoots up to 14 after smashing Wisconsin. Vanderbilt at 20. That's the highest since 2008, and they deserve it. Georgia Tech at 18 after the win against Clemson. Biggest ranking for them since 15. And USC sneaks back in it at 25. The big headline, though, Texas and Texas A&M together in the top 10 for the first time since 2020. And really, if you throw out the weird COVID season, it's been since 1978. That's big for college football. That's good for the sport. Those two at the top together, that stirs the pot. Bottom line, this poll is messy. Voters played favorites, and A&M's living off a big moment. They're back in the top 10 now, but we'll see if they can back it up when SEC play really starts. Get to WNBA Playoffs in a moment, but first we want to update you on what is going on in Las Vegas. 1:19 left to play in the second. Raiders have the ball at their own 45. It's 3rd and 6. Chargers, though, are up 17-6 in Las Vegas. Monday Night Football doubleheader going on right now as we speak. Justin Herbert, 8 for 13, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Geno Smith, 11 of 18, 97 yards, yet to find the end zone, but his first play of the game was an interception. Playoff basketball in the W, and we start, coincidentally, in Las Vegas. The Aces wasting no time in Game 1. Asia Wilson dominating, 29 points, and the Aces roll over the Seattle Storm 102-77. Jackie Young all over the stat sheet with 18 points, 7 assists, 5 boards, 4 steals. Vegas has now won 17 straight, tying the 2014 Mercury for the second longest streak in league history. Aces can punch their ticket to the semis Tuesday night in Seattle. To Phoenix, where the defending champion Liberty survived a scare and maybe something bigger. Natasha Cloud with 23 points, including a dagger, 3 to start overtime, sparking an 8-0 run as New York wins it 76-69. But the big story, Brianna Stewart, 18 points, then went down holding her left knee in overtime. She tried to play through it but had to leave the game. She is listed as questionable for Wednesday's Game 2. So, Liana Felbich sealed it with a huge 3, and the Liberty head back to New York with a chance to close it out on Wednesday. Over to Atlanta, the Dream making a statement in Game 1. Alicia Gray and Raheem Howard, 20 apiece, and Naz Hillman, the 6th person of the year, had 16 with 9 boards as the Dream handled the Fever 80-68. Kelsey Mitchell did everything she could, 27 points for Indiana, but without Caitlin Clark and 3 other rotation players, the Fever just couldn't keep up. Atlanta now 1 win away from the semifinals on Tuesday. And finally, the top seed showing out in Minneapolis. Nafisha Collier with 20 points to lead 5 Lynx in double figures as Minnesota crushes Golden State 101-72. Natasha Heidman drops 18, Kayla McBride 17, Jessica Shepard 12 and 8. And the Lynx never looked back after a big second quarter run. Golden State still searching for its first ever win over Minnesota. Lynx up 1-0 heading to the Bay for Game 2. So after Game 1, across the board, it's the Aces, the Liberty, the Dream, and the Lynx, all with early control in their first round series. It is a best of 3. Game 2's coming up tomorrow, and they are as follows. The Dream will play the Fever at 7:30, and then at 9:30, Aces taking on the Storm. And, the Fever are 13-8 against Eastern Conference opponents. Indiana leads the Eastern Conference with 40.3 points in the paint, led by Kelsey Mitchell, averaging 12. Indiana was up the majority of that game, and then I don't know what happened. Third quarter, something the Dream were just on fire. I think that one might go to a Game 3 just because the Fever fan base is going to be loud and rowdy, and then the Aces and the Storm in Seattle. I don't know. Aces are 16-8 in Western Conference play. Vegas is third in the WNBA, averaging 9.1 made three-pointers per game while shooting 35.1% from deep. Jewel Lloyd leads the team, averaging 2.3 makes while shooting 38.2% from three-point range. I think Vegas has that one in the bag. I don't know, though. We will be watching. The playoffs this year have been very entertaining. The whole season have been entertaining, and Sunday was another example of that. Will be following the playoffs as they continue. Now, this is a crazy story out of high school sports, and you're thinking, well, this is a national show. Why would you cover something so local? Well, let me tell you something about this. The Bishop Montgomery football scandal involves one of the most significant violations of CIF bylaws in recent memory. You say, Ryder, who's the CIF? Well, that is the governing body of high school athletics in California. Okay, it's the southern section, and they're the governing body of high school athletics in California. But listen to what's been going on at Bishop Montgomery football here in LA. 24 players transferred into the school's football program, raising immediate concerns. After review, the CIF Southern section ruled 19 players ineligible, citing falsified transfer information. Those players received 2-year bans from CIF competition. At the center of it all was a well-known booster in the South Bay, Brett Stay, referred to by some as the Money Man, who admitted publicly that he had paid families to bring their kids to Bishop Montgomery. The fallout has been swift and severe. The entire varsity football season was forfeited and canceled before it truly began. I think they only played one game. Head coach Ed Hodkiss was fired after 15 years. School president Patrick Lee resigned. And the Archdiocese of Los Angeles issued a cease and desist letter to Stagg, the Money Man, banning his involvement in Catholic high school athletics. What started as a football controversy has now become a full-blown institutional crisis. Tonight, the Archdiocese of Los Angeles is responding exclusively to the Ryder Report. They confirmed that Bishop Montgomery, working with the Department of Catholic Schools, self-reported the violation to the CIF Southern Section. The Archdiocese says it launched a full investigation in August after the first 5 players were ruled ineligible. That investigation is ongoing, but they stress that all validations are taken seriously out of the best interest of students and the school community. The statement acknowledges the gravity of this situation, adding that the school, quote, deeply regrets any lapses in oversight or adherence to the CIF regulations. Bishop Montgomery has, according to the Archdiocese, accepted full responsibility, apologized to its community, and pledged to restore trust in the program. And that brings us to the broader story. This is about more than one forfeited season. It's about the blurred line between high school and sports and the high-stakes, high-dollar culture that surrounds them. When a booster acts more like a sports agent than a supporter, when transfers become transactions, when the rules are bent until they finally break. The result is exactly what we see here. Players banned, leaders out, a season lost, a school's reputation shaken. The Archdiocese wants to turn the page, and they should. But if this story is to mean anything, it should be a warning shot to every high school in Southern California. This isn't college football. There are no NIL deals. And it certainly isn't the NFL with salary caps. These are kids. This is school. And integrity is supposed to matter most of all. For Bishop Montgomery, the rebuilding begins now. The Ryder Report did reach out to the CIF Southern Section, and they refused to comment. Here is what's trending on the Ryder Report on this Monday evening. In Ashburn, Virginia, concerns tonight for the Washington Commanders and their young star quarterback, Jaden Daniels. Daniels, last year's Offensive Rookie of the Year, suffered a sprained left knee in Thursday's loss at Green Bay. Head coach Dan Quinn describes him as day-to-day, but his availability for Sunday's matchup with the Raiders is uncertain. If Daniels can't go, veteran Marcus Mariota would step in. The injury came on a night when Washington also lost running back Austin Eckler and defensive end Dietrich Wise for the season, a potentially pivotal blow to a team with championship aspirations. Meanwhile, in Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy's difficult NFL beginning has hit another detour. The Vikings rookie quarterback, just 2 games into his career after missing all of last season, has been diagnosed with a high ankle sprain. He's expected to miss at least 2 weeks. Carson Wentz, on his 6th team in as many years, will get the start Sunday against Cincinnati. And in college football, LSU head coach Brian Kelly spent part of his Monday in apology mode after snapping at a reporter following Saturday's 20-10 win over Florida. Kelly admitted he fell short of the standard he sets for himself and promised to be better in future exchanges. Still, the third-ranked Tigers are under scrutiny, averaging just 20 points per game, last in the SEC. Here is what is going on in the world of baseball. Games going on right now. Giants and the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks lead at 7-1, top of the 7th with 1 out. Phillies at the Dodgers, 3-1, top of the 6th, no outs. Cubs beat the Pirates earlier today, 4-0. Braves defeated the Nationals 11-3. Blue Jays defeated the Rays 2-1. Orioles defeated the White Sox 4-1. Twins defeated the Yankees 7-0. Reds defeated the Cardinals 11-6. And the Astros defeated the Rangers 6-3. Games tomorrow. Guardians travel to Detroit to play the Tigers. Braves and the Nationals in a doubleheader. Game 1 make up for May 21st. Cubs and the Pirates. Braves, Nationals, doubleheader game 2. Athletics, Red Sox. Padres at the Mets. Blue Jays at the Rays. Angels at the Brewers. Orioles at the White Sox. Yankees at the Twins. Mariners at the Royals. Reds at the Cardinals. Rangers at the Astros. Marlins at the Rockies. Giants at the Diamondbacks. And Phillies at the Dodgers. We will have those games, or coverage of those games, right here tomorrow. We look at the standings in Major League Baseball. Leading the East is Toronto, 88 wins, 62 losses. Behind them are the Yankees. In third place are the Red Sox. In the Central, Detroit, Cleveland, Kansas City. Detroit leading it with 85 wins, 65 losses. Minnesota and the White Sox of Chicago have been eliminated. In the West, Seattle leading it, 82 wins, 68 wins. Right behind them, though, is Houston, 82 and 69. Texas, the Rangers, 79-72. The Athletics, 70 and 80. The Angels, 69 and 81. Philadelphia has clinched a playoff berth in the National League East. 89 and 61 is their record. Washington is eliminated with 62 wins and 88 losses. Still on the hunt, though, the Mets and Miami. Milwaukee has also clinched a playoff berth with 91 wins and 59 losses. The Pittsburgh Pirates have been eliminated. Chicago, Cincinnati, and St. Louis still in it. And in the West, the Dodgers have a 2-game lead against San Diego, 84-65, 82-68. San Francisco and Arizona are tied with 75 wins. San Francisco has 74 losses. Arizona has 75 losses. Colorado is eliminated. Wild card spots if the season were to end today. The Yankees and the Red Sox in the American League. National League would be the Cubs and San Diego. That is where we stand in September baseball. Always a fun time for that. Let's go to golf. Scottie Scheffler has become one of the most prominent figures in golf since his breakthrough year in 2022, where he achieved the #1 world ranking. Over the past few years, he's claimed a member of the PGA Tour titles, included 2 wins at the Masters tournament. At the 2024 Summer Games in Paris, Scheffler achieved his first Olympic gold medal for Team USA alongside Wyndham Clark, Colin Morikawa, and Xander Schauffele. He finished the PGA season as the FedEx champion and took home a President's Cup victory with Team USA. Scheffler has emerged victorious at the Memorial, CJ Cup Brian Nelson, PGA Championship, and he also got arrested at the PGA Championship, but we don't talk about that. Open Championship, BMW Championship, and Pro Core Championship in 2025. And check out Scheffler's key wins and honors through his career, 24-25. He did that again, 23-24, PGA Tour Player of the Year, Players Championship, Arnold Palmer Invitational, Travelers Hero. 22, WM Phoenix Open, champion at the Players, Player of the Year. PGA Tour Player of the Year in 21, Masters. That's when he won the green jacket. Arnold Palmer Invitational. WM Phoenix Open. 2024 Paris Olympics gold medalist. President's Cup in 22 and 24 winner. Ryder Cup 2021 winner. 2023 participant. He's on the team this year in a couple weeks. Walker Cup 2017 winner. Eisenhower Trophy 2016 participant. Man is special. And, he won the Pro Core Championship yesterday after Ben Griffin missed a short putt. But all eyes are going to be on that Ryder Cup in a couple of weeks. And gotta believe that Scottie Scheffler is going to be a key factor on that team. And, it's going to be fun. It's going to be in Bethpage Black Course in Farmingdale, New York. Team USA, Team Europe. Competition begins on Friday with foursomes, continue with four ball matchups on Saturday, and concludes with the 12 single matches on Sunday. Here are the teams. USA captain Keegan Bradley selected the following players to join the automatic qualifiers: Scottie Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, J.J. Spawn, Russell Henley, Harris English, and Bryson DeChambeau. The European team captain Luke Donald selected the following players to join the automatic qualifiers: Rory McIlroy, Robert McIntyre, Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose, Rasmus Højgaard, and Tyrell Hatton. So it's going to be fun. Bethpage Black is a challenging course designed by A.W. Tillingshat, and it's also the first time that Bethpage Black will host the Ryder Cup. Monday Night Football still going on. The Chargers and the Raiders They are at halftime. Chargers lead at 17-6. Third quarter coming up momentarily. Look at Justin Herbert here, 9 of 14, 133 yards, 2 touchdowns. Geno Smith, 11 for 19, 2 INTs. So turnovers have been the story. Also, total yards, not a really a big difference. 183 to 128 in favor of the Chargers. Passing, though, has been the story. Justin Herbert, 130 passing yards. Geno Smith, only 78. Rushing, 53-50 in favor of the Chargers there. And then those 2 turnovers. Really the story for Las Vegas is the third quarter has just started. Let's go to tonight's final thought. For more than 4 decades, WrestleMania has been billed as the showcase of the immortals, the granddaddy of them all, WWE's biggest pay-per-view. It has been staged in packed stadiums across North America, from Madison Square Garden to Las Vegas to the Pontiac Silverdome, and 93,000 watched Hogan slam Andre the Giant. SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, Ford Field in Detroit at WrestleMania 23, WrestleMania 24 in Miami, 25 in Dallas. And the event has always been wrapped not just in spectacle, but in Americana. Now, for the first time, WrestleMania will leave North America. In 2027, WWE will bring its signature event to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as part of the kingdom's lavishly funded Riyadh season. To WWE executives, this is about expansion, about presenting the brand as truly global. To Saudi leaders, it's about prestige. Another high-profile jewel in a crown already filled with world-class sporting events. Live Golf, World Championship Boxing, Formula One, soccer, esports. Saudi Arabia has spent billions to place itself as the center of global sport. But the question is not, can they do it? It's, should they? For critics, this is yet another chapter in what has come to be known as sports washing. The use of athletic grandeur, star power, and spectacle to soften or obscure the harder truths. Human rights abuse, censorship, the continued suppression of dissent, and the lingering shadow of the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Why is sports watching dangerous? Because sport is supposed to be about merit, competition, in human excellence. When it is instead used as a shield, when spectacle is purchased to reframe perception, it allows regimes to launder their reputation without changing their reality. It trades on the goodwill of athletes and fans, turning their passion into someone else's propaganda. History gives us precedents. In 1936, Adolf Hitler staged the Berlin Olympics to showcase Nazi Germany to the world as a modern and orderly, even as persecution was already underway at home. More recently, Vladimir Putin used the 2014 Winter Games in Sochi as a glittering distraction from his authoritarian rule. Qatar spent hundreds of billions to host the 2022 World Cup, using it to rebrand itself while migrant workers labored and died under harsh conditions. In every case, the message was the same. Let the stadiums, the fireworks, the spectacle draw the headlines, not the repression or the suffering. And now, an institution built on entertainment Americana, one that for decades reflected the over-the-top brashiness of the United States itself, has chosen to sell its most hallowed stage to the highest bidder. Of course, WWE has been doing business in Saudi Arabia since 2018, but WrestleMania is different. WrestleMania, it is Mr. T and Roddy Piper. It's Lawrence Taylor. It's Aretha Franklin. It's Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. It is their Super Bowl, their Oscars, their crown jewel. And in 2027, that crown jewel will glitter in the desert, backed not by tradition, but by billions in sovereign wealth. Defenders of the deal point to progress. Women allowed to drive. Women no longer having to ask their husbands if they want to be suicide bombers. That's progress, ladies and gentlemen. And women, listen to this, women are going to be allowed to perform in the ring and attend matches, albeit under restricted conditions. Critics see those very examples as proof that even modest reforms are used as promotional currency, while deeper concerns remain untouched. This is the paradox. Global sport and now global spectacle comes at a price. For WWE, the price is obvious. Tens, perhaps hundreds of millions in guaranteed revenue. For Saudi Arabia, the payoff is legitimacy, a chance to shift the narrative from repression to entertainment. Look, we've got I don't know who the main event's going to be, but we've got Brock Lesnar. We've got my mind's doing a break. Rey Mysterio. We've got Triple H here in our town. What do you got over there? It's not repression. Saudi Arabia is the entertainment capital of the world. So what if women can't go to school? We've got the WWE Championship. We've got Live Golf. Give me a break. And for fans, they'll get fireworks, they'll get pageantry, and they'll get spectacle because WWE will deliver that wherever it goes. But the larger question lingers. When the Immortals parade down that grand aisle in Riyadh, what exactly will be celebrated? The global reach of professional wrestling? Or the global reach of Saudi Arabia's influence? And that, my friend, is something worth thinking about. And that will do it for me on a Monday night. Till next time, Ryder Bullock reporting. Take care of yourself and each other.